Welcome to Poor Patrick Productions. Today we're going over basic editing. It's not that time. Welcome to Poor Patrick Productions. I'm your host Patrick. Today we're going over part 2 of basic filming. In this video we're going to cover shot progressions and overlapping action. In part 1 we covered the 180 rule, we covered framing, and we covered basic shots. Now we're going to put all of that together and we're going to go over our shot progressions and then overlapping action. And they all tie in together and you'll be able to see that. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So when we're talking about shot progressions, what we're talking about is going from one shot to the next shot. And shot progression, your basic shot progression is going to be a long shot, medium shot, close-up, followed up with a reestablishing shot. And this reestablishing shot is usually either a long shot or a medium shot. Now, you can vary it up and change it up a little bit. You might want to start off with a close-up and go to a medium shot, then a long shot. You want to hold your viewer in a little bit of suspense as to, the location or what's actually going on. So you want to start off with like that close-up. Now you can also start off with a medium shot because the medium shot can establish the character. It can establish a location. It's just not a broad location, so you don't see everything that's around the character, but you do get a sense of whether or not they're indoors or outdoors. So let's take a look at this video that I shot a few weeks back, and I shot it specifically for this how-to video series that I'm doing. And all it is basically, I need to tie my shoe is the title of the story. Now, one of the key things that you'll notice that in each one of the shots is that I am doing something. I have hand movement, head movement, I'm walking, I'm bending down, I'm standing up. So this is where we get into our overlapping action. So back in the old days, whenever a movie would be filmed, they would start off, they'd have what they call a master shot. It'd be a wide shot of the entire scene and sequence that happens. So they capture the entire sequence in a long shot so that they have everything that they need to do. Then whenever they move into their next shot, their medium shots and their close-ups, they have framework of what's going on and what's happening. So then they can have the actors pick up at specific points instead of having to run the whole sequence all over again. They can have them like, you're at this point and you're doing this. So you'll notice in this video that I did do a master shot. We'll take a look at it here. Here's the master shot. You can notice that it is a long shot. And look at what I do and how I do things. You'll actually see movement. You'll see specific times and places that'd be like, okay, that would be a good place to go to the next shot, to like say our medium shot. So now we're going to match that same action. We're going to frame up for our medium shot, and we're going to go through that whole sequence again up to where you can see me taking my cell phone out. And as my cell phone comes up, you can see that it's in the frame. All right, there's a chance for me to go to my next shot. So I can either use this shot here. This is showing the phone come up and we're looking down at the phone, or I can go to this shot here where I'm shooting upwards towards me, where you see me, you see the phone come in, and you see me looking down at the phone. At this point, we could go to the other shot of the phone if we wanted to. But you can see that overlapping action that is happening. And the same thing goes whenever I'm putting it back. So now I'm going back to a reestablishing shot because I want to reestablish the scene and reestablish what's going on. You notice that movement is still happening. I'm still making that same movement to put my phone into my pocket. And then you'll notice that I actually turn, and I do that turn on frame. So that is another key point where I can go in and I can say, okay, let me get a different shot, different angle of what's going on, because I have that action and I have that movement. So if I can match that movement in my next shot, in my next framing, then it's not going to be too abrupt and it's not going to cause too much distraction. If you notice, I'm actually facing pretty much straight on. This is known as a neutral shot because you can see the 180. You can see that rule of 180 to where, actually no matter what, I could choose which way I want to go on my next shot. I can choose to either go on one side or the other side. That is what your neutral shot does. It allows you to cross that 180 degree and actually start framing and shooting from the next shot. And if you notice, now we're looking, the angle is now of my shoes. You can see that I have a shoe that is untied. You notice that I enter the frame and I exit the frame. This can be used to lengthen the time of a shot. So if it's something that happens real quick, by cutting to small actions and letting that happen, letting that enter and exit the frame, you can actually extend how long the person that is viewing it, how long it actually takes for that fast action to take place. You can now see that I'm kneeling to tie my shoes. So you can see that my hands are moving. So now I go to another shot and it's a close-up of the shoes actually being tied. And now it's at a neutral shot, and you can see that after I tie my shoes, I put my hands on the ground. Now, if you notice how I place my hands, so in this next shot, you can see that I start off with having my hands placed in that position so that whenever I get up and move, it continues on and the story is continued and concluded whenever I exit the frame. So that is how the overlapping action, that is how framing, that is how your shots and shot progressions can work. And we're going to take a look at this in a different way. So you'll notice that in this sequence, we're going from a close-up and then working our way to a medium shot, long shot, and then back into the regular sequence. It adds a little bit of mystery because you don't know what's going on. Why am I looking at my phone? You know, what am I looking around for? And then I take off and then I just tie my shoe and then exit the frame. Again, it's not a compelling story, but it is a story, and it's a good example of how you can cross the action axis line. You notice that I actually did that on camera. So the best way to do that is to actually have the character do it on camera, or you can go to a cutaway. Now, a cutaway is a different shot, and this shot is usually done to take away from the action, to move away from it, to get a little bit of a break, if you will, or to actually have to change something up to where you can, you know, maybe you worked yourself into a spot where you really can't just jump out to a different camera angle because it might be too abrupt. So you're going to cut away from the action, meaning that you're going away from the action. And you're doing that so you can reestablish your next shot. So you're cutting away from what is currently happening on screen. You're cutting to something else to show something else. This allows you to, when you come back, that you can start all over, fresh framing. You can start off with your long shots. You can go to close-ups. You have free reign of where you can frame and start that shot over again. I didn't do any cutaways in this sequence. What I did do is I did cut ends. That's like your extreme close-up. So whenever my shoe is filling the screen up and I'm tying it, that is considered an extreme close-up. So it's also framed in a way that it is a neutral shot. So doing that, it allows me to pull back and go to my reestablishing shot as a long shot or medium shot, and I can frame it and set it up however I want to, so that whenever we're popping back out of that, we can see it. But the key thing that I am doing is that I'm matching the actions in the video, so that there's that key moment, there's a similarity of what is happening is going on. So that is what the overlapping action is about. That is why we talk about the overlapping action, and it leads into our long shot, medium shot, close up. Then you move out and you show your medium shot and long shot so that you can establish where the character is and what is happening. And then you go back through your shot progression. So again, you're going through a long shot, medium shot, close up, reestablishing shot. So I hope this was informative, and I hope you're able to get something out of this video. I like to keep these videos kind of short. I don't want to get them long and drawn out. I think some of this stuff is pretty easy, and it'd be better if you actually go and actually practice utilizing your long shot, medium shot, close up, and if you actually start, practicing with some overlapping action. The more time that you're spent behind the camera, working the camera, or in front of the camera, the better off you'll be and the more relaxed you'll be. So, don't spend too much time worrying about watching all the videos and spending, hours and hours and hours just watching, a video on how to do this or how to do that. Actually get out there and start doing this or that. And that way it gives you the experience and it gives you the practice. So until next time, get out there and be creative. Hey, in the next video, we'll be doing video editing. We'll be using Wondershare Filmora. I have a link to that in the description below, so make sure you grab that and get ready to actually have some real fun when we get into video editing. Hey, shirt's got a stain.